riesgos entre cielo, tierra y mar.
¿Dónde está Cuba? ¡Ahí!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Monday night debate. If you are joining us for the first time, thank you for joining us. I am your host, Iska Perez, and my co-host, hello, Mr. Rickett.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hola.
we can hear you. And we have a very special guest tonight, the father of Ernesto, Borges Perez. He is a political prisoner, and his father is joining us tonight. Buenas noches, señor. ¿Cómo usted está? No le oigo. Sí. No le estamos escuchando. I'm just explaining to him that we're not hearing. Le oí la primera vez que habló. Intente de nuevo por el micrófono. Póngase el micrófono más cerca. No, I can't hear. Oh, he's on mute. Wait. Oh, okay. Trate de nuevo. Buenas noches. No le escuchamos. No.
Okay. Iskra, what we can do, maybe you can call him on WhatsApp or.
Okay.
And I'll give the audience an introduction. Okay?
Right. Okay. Thank you very much.
No
okay.
problem. Let me see here.
I'm gonna remove him.
Okay, so I'm gonna give the intro. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk About Cuba. So the person that we're talking about today, the political prisoner, is called Ernesto Borges Perez. Now, this man, in 1998, he was a captain, actually, of the Cuban intelligence services. He was a captain of the first department of the Directorate General of Counterintelligence of the Ministry of the Interior. You know how these communists are super long-winded. And he was one of the many Cubans who awoke from the lethargy to which the people of Cuba have been subjected since 1959. This is an article, actually, from our friends over at, at Heraldo de Cuba. All right, this is their website, Heraldo, like Herald, O, de Cuba. So you can find the article there. After overcoming the special period of the 90s, right, where the special period happens because in the 1980s, the Soviet Union falls apart and can no longer subsidize Cuba. So what they call in Cuba a special period was just famine. Okay. And after overcoming the special period, which brought worsened scarcity and hunger over the average Cuban, and which also caused the social outburst in Havana, the Maleconazo. It was sort of like similar to the riots that we've seen lately. Something like that happened in Havana, close to the Malecon, which is the wall, the seawall of Havana. People went out, they busted a lot of windows, there was a lot of protesting, That's when Fidel comes out and basically tells those people there, hey, if you don't like Cuba, you can go, get on a raft and go. And that's when the rafter crisis begins in earnest. Despite this period of extreme scarcity, which lasted until the end of 1999, and following Chavez's arrival in power in Venezuela, Cuba continued to invest millions of dollars in the preparation, infiltration, and maintenance of Cuban security agents within the heart of the Cuban exile community in Florida. That's right. People were starving in the 90s. Chavez started to give them money starting in the early 2000s. But these guys, they didn't care about their people. They didn't care about the fact that they maybe had other investments in Venezuela, as we've seen today. They're all about infiltration and agents. And not only were they, he in this case, the Captain Ernesto, intelligence agents in information collection functions, there were also active groups in illegal intelligence operations funded from Havana, with no budget to buy food for the population within the island. So Ernesto Borges then decided to try to stop the new infiltrations. I believe we have our guest.
Yes, I'm going to try. I tried to call him, but it didn't work. So let me try one more time through here. Tiene que quitarse está en mute de su lado. Tiene que darle al micrófono para que se quite ahí. Ok. Buenas noches. ¿Nos oyes? ¿No escuchas? No le podemos oír nada. No sé. No, acaba de quitar el...
Ahora se debería escuchar, pero
tiene
algo.
A ver, intente otra vez de hablarnos. No. We apologize, but these things do happen with the connection with Cuba. It's very hard. As a matter of fact, I was trying to even make the connection via a WhatsApp, via just regular phone, and it was very hard for us.
What about a Facebook call, Iskra? Do you think that could work, like just a voice call through Facebook, maybe?
Señor Borges, voy a intentar de llamar por teléfono. Vamos a intentar de hacer la llamada.
Sin imagen.
Sin imagen. ¿Ok?
Ok. All right, I'll keep going.
Voy a desconectar y voy a llamar por teléfono porque no le oímos nada. ¿Ok? I am going to try and do this.
Hold on. I'm gonna put myself on full screen here while you do that. Okay. Solo layout. So Ernesto Borges decided to try to stop the new infiltrations of Cuban G2 agents. So G2 G2 is similar to the KGB, the Mossad, the CIA, etc. But Cuban. In Miami, and to stop two of the illegal intelligence operations underway within the U.S. territory, which not only bled the coffers of the Cuban state, but above all helped the Castros to remain in power and to pollute American society with left-wing radical influence agents, as we have seen in recent months, that so much damage has done not only to Cuba, but also to the United States itself. But he was caught in the failed attempt to provide all this important information to the United States interest section in Havana. So he was sentenced excessively to 30 years in prison for attempting to commit espionage crime. This is key, attempting to commit espionage, as recorded in the sentence according to the statute, crime 97.1. So this article 97.1 says that anyone who, to the detriment of state security, participates, collaborates, or maintains relations with the information of a foreign state, or provides reports to them, or obtains or procures them for the purpose of communicating them, incurs a penalty of deprivation of liberty of 10 to 20 years or death. Right, 10 to 20 years if you try to do this. Now, considering that the facts declared in the actual, in the court case, in the result of the case, is that the crime of espionage was not committed, it was only attempted, per the actual penal code of the communists in Cuba. They are contradicting themselves, because right now Ernesto Borges has been in prison. Well, he was sentenced to 30 years, even when the maximum amount of time that you're supposed to do is 20 years. And contrary to the facts narrated in the results of the judgment itself, he should not have been legally sentenced to more than 15 years of deprivation of liberty. Okay, so he was sentenced unfairly, twice the amount of years. He has been in prison for 22 years since 1998, has been denied the right to probation for more than 8 years, and was only recently granted the right to his first weekend pass after 22 years of high security imprisonment. Today he's almost blind, and he's one of the men forgotten by his own who tried to save his own soil from Castro communism. Unfortunately, the US government in 22 years has never tried, unless otherwise known, unbeknownst to us, to intercede for him. And this basically, he ruined his life and has been in prison for 22 years. In a really bad prison in Havana, the Combinado del Este, the East Combined prison in Havana, where they live in Ward 47 with totally inhumane conditions, and the Cuban government doesn't consider that their lives have any value, right?
Okay, Riquet, I have the family on the phone.
Okay.
I have Raúl Borges Alvarez, who is Ernesto's father, and I also have his brother Cesar on the line. What we're going to do is I'm going to ask them questions in Spanish, and Riquet is going to translate those questions into English. Buenas noches, señor Raúl. ¿Cómo usted está?
Buenas noches, bien, ¿y usted qué tal?
Muy bien, le estamos oyendo. Gracias por estar con nosotros esta noche.
Muchas gracias a ustedes. Gracias a ustedes.
Bueno, hemos dado ya los datos de Ernesto, todo lo que ha sucedido, todo lo que pasó, pero que quisiéramos un testimonio de la familia, porque hay cosas que todavía que no estaban en los datos que buscamos. Para empezar, ¿en qué fecha lo apresaron a él? ¿Cuál fue la fecha de apresaron? ¿En qué fecha la apresaron?
On what date was he arrested?
Sí, a él lo detienen, lo apresaron el 17 de julio de 1998.
July 17, 1998.
Ya, ok, gracias. ¿Y qué cargos le pusieron?
What were the charges?
Sancionaron a 30 años de privación de libertad después de conmutarle la pena de muerte.
Pero ¿el cargo cuál era?
Tentativa de espionaje. Tentativa de espionaje.
Okay, so attempted espionage were the charges, and he was sentenced to 30 years with a commuted death sentence.
Ok, muchas gracias. ¿Qué tiempo le dieron? O sea, ya me dijo que le habían puesto, me dijo que 30 años, ¿correcto? Creo que esa pregunta...
Sí, correcto, sí.
Ok.
Correcto.
Pero por lo que tengo entendido, el atento de espionaje nada más podían darle 15 años. ¿Estoy equivocada?
No está equivocada. La sanción indudablemente que está totalmente desproporcionada. Esta sanción se da porque, estamos en un régimen totalitario de corte de extrema izquierda estalinista. Cuba tiene la misma nomenclatura de acción del ex sistema jurídico de la ex Unión Soviética. Y inclusive, ¿no?
Okay.
La Unión Soviética...
Deme un segundito para ir traduciendo, un segundito. Go ahead, okay.
So we have confirmed that, yes, he was only supposed to be sentenced to 15 years in jail, and that the 30 years sentence exceeds that, and that is because Cuba is run as a Stalinist state. In fact, they have the same modus operandi of the Soviet Union.
Okay, no, my connection has stalled. Give me 1 minute.
Yes, he also said that it is a dictatorship, of a left-wing dictatorship, and and Stalinist. That's what he said basically. Yes.
Okay, I have lost connection. I'm going to try. I'm sure they will be calling me back. I apologize. This is what happens with Cuba. That's right. Unfortunately. I am.
Hola, Dairis. This is somebody that says that she's in Cuba, so that's amazing. That's right. And he's not the only one. To conclude the article, it said that the United States should one day recognize the sacrifice of this patriot who not only tried to save Cuba from communism, but also the Americans themselves from the terrible communist influence that is unfortunately perceived today among young Americans. And that was exported by the dictatorship of Havana. You're muted, Iskra. Are you talking with somebody else? You're muted again. Can everybody hear Iskra?
Okay, so I'm explaining to him that we have explained to our audience that this is how communications are with Cuba, so that we all understand. Señor Borges, una preguntita más. ¿Qué explicación le han dado, ya que han sido 22 años? ¿Ustedes han tratado de hacer apelaciones?
What, Mr. Borges, what...
un segundo, déjeme traducir. Go ahead.
Mr. Borges Sr., the father of the man in prison, what explanations have you received from the Cuban government? Have you tried to appeal the sentence?
Sí, adelante, puede... Oh my God, we lost connection again. This is very hard.
Yes, okay. That's what you get with a state monopoly in communications.
Buenas, señor Borges. Perdón. Okay. La pregunta fue ¿qué explicación le han dado y si ustedes han tratado de apelar la sentencia en estos años.
Nosotros hemos hecho apelación. Primero se hizo una apelación por el mismo Ernesto al Supremo y contestaron negando la libertad que ya le pertenece. Y entonces recientemente nombramos un abogado y hizo una nueva solicitud y contestaron el día 28 de diciembre denegando la solicitud de la libertad condicional, que ya lo menos que Ernesto puede tener es la libertad condicional.
¿Y cuándo le tocaba la libertad condicional?
Bueno, de acuerdo a las leyes militares de Cuba, aquí hay una contradicción muy grande. Esto pasa cuando estamos en un régimen donde el Estado de Derecho no existe. El Estado de Derecho está controlado por la tiranía y ellos lo manejan a su antojo, de acuerdo a sus intereses.
Ok, deme un chancecito para traducir.
Sí.
Okay, so what he has said so far is that yes, they tried to appeal the initial sentence and they denied it. He said that he went to the Supremo. I am going to assume that's the Supreme Court, and then he asked for parole, and they have also denied it. And then Iskra asked them when he was due for parole, and if he was due, and the father said yes, but you know they live in a system that basically they adjust the law according to their interests.
Ok, bueno, entonces sí, entendemos que adicionalmente Ernesto está muy enfermo, ¿correcto?
Sí, muy enfermo. Ernesto tiene 2 patologías en estos momentos que lo puede quebrantar con un peligro extremo de su estado. Tenemos la catarata que está muy avanzada. Ernesto está prácticamente ciego, prácticamente ya no distingue la fisonomía de una persona a los 3 metros.
Okay, so he's stating that, deme un segundito porque...
Okay, right now he says that he has cataracts, very advanced cataracts, and he's 3 meters in height, correct?
No, he can't see from 3 meters. So he's lost sight from the right eye completely, and the left eye, he can't see from 3 meters far. So basically, he's legally blind at this point. Adelante.
Sí, entonces él tiene otra patología que es una hernia que no puede hacer fuerza, porque si hace una fuerza, cargar un cubo de agua, por ejemplo, ¿no? Se le puede...
¿Qué tipo de hernia?
Y eso puede quebrantarle su estado de salud y ponerlo al borde de un desenlace fatal.
Correcto. ¿Qué tipo de hernia?
Hernia inguinal.
Gotcha.
Hernia inguinal.
Okay, so he also has an inguinal hernia. So, you know, obviously he cannot, you know, do any heavy lifting or even, you know, as in these prisons, you have to carry buckets of water or of refuse or whatever else. You have to take care of yourself in there. So, yeah, he's in serious danger of, you know, well, in constant pain, blind, and any sort of sudden move or any strength for any reason, you know, which may happen in prison. You may have to defend yourself or whatever, may cause him to actually have a fatal occurrence, right?
Sí. Señor Borges, unas preguntitas más. ¿Ustedes han intentado tratar de buscar ayuda al gobierno de los Estados Unidos, ya que su hijo también trabajaba para ellos en este momento?
No, mira, nosotros directamente con el gobierno de Norteamérica no hemos hecho contacto. No hemos hecho contacto porque la acción que Ernesto ejecutó el 17 de julio del 98 fue sustraer de los archivos secretos de la seguridad del Estado 26 candidatos a espía, 26 agentes en fase de preparación para una vez terminado penetrarlo en territorio norteamericano y países de la OTAN.
Ya. Okay, un momentico.
Okay, so Mr. Borges, have you asked the U.S. government for help? No, I have not asked the U.S. government for help because what my son did was that he went to the secret archives of the G2 spy agency, Cuba, right? And he extracted or exfiltrated 26 profiles or spy candidates in preparation that were going to be sent to the United States and the other countries in the Organization of American States.
Ya. Entonces, por lo que usted me está indicando, él no llegó a ejecutar, o sea, no llegó a darle la información a los Estados Unidos, ¿correcto?
Sí, déjeme explicarle,
Okay.
para que la comunidad internacional tenga una idea clara de lo que estamos planteando.
Sí.
La situación, Ernesto actuó como un esfuerzo a la comunidad de inteligencia y contrainteligencia. Ernesto actuó como un iniciativista. Así se llaman las personas que actúan por iniciativa propia sin que los servicios especiales del país lo hayan reclutado. Él actuó como un patriota,
claro,
porque realmente sentía que 26 espías preparados para actos terroristas y de todo tipo fueran introducidos en territorio norteamericano.
Ya, denme un segundito.
Okay, so then, Mr. Borges Sr., what you're trying to say is that he was caught before he was able to complete the act, and then Mr. Borges Sr. said that, yes, my son basically acted as a whistleblower. He, out of his own initiative, not because he was, you know, he was working for the Americans, or he wanted to work for the Americans or somebody, you know, or some other government. He acted out of his own sense of justice and virtue, similar to, and here I'm putting this in, if you think about Edward Snowden, you know, when he blew the whistle on the NSA, Adrian Assange with WikiLeaks, etc. It was something similar.
Correct, yeah. Entonces, señor César, ¿qué comunicación tienen ustedes ahorita mismo con su hijo? ¿Lo pueden ver? ¿Lo pueden hablar con ellos por teléfono? ¿Cuáles son las comunicaciones de la familia con el prisionero? Un momento.
So, Mr. Borges, what kind of communication do you have with your son? How does the family communicate with him, if at all?
Adelante.
Sí, nosotros mantenemos una comunicación generalmente una vez al mes. Y lo vemos cuando estaban las visitas, se podían ejecutar, lo veíamos una vez mensual, la visita. Desde que está la pandemia hasta hace un año, no hemos podido disfrutarlo en la visita. Tenemos la excepción que le dieron 5 días de pase al otorgarse el campamento. Esto es un beneficio que se le da después de casi 23 años.
Okay.
Y ahí también tiene llamada telefónica con nosotros.
Ok, deme un segundito para traducir.
So they used to call him once a month, and they used to visit him once a month. At this time, well, it's been a year since COVID basically started, and they haven't been able to visit him. Recently, he was granted 5 days of camping.
Yeah, so it's a separate camp where, as an exception for people that have been in jail for more than 22 years, they gave him 1 week at this special camp where they've had a little bit more, been able to have more contact, I guess, and more telephone conversations with the family. Yes. Hi. Bueno, señor Borges, ¿hay algo que usted quisiera decirle a nuestra audiencia y al mundo? Un segundo.
Mr. Borges, is there anything that you want to tell our audience and the world?
Adelante, por favor. Tienen los micrófonos. Sí. Nosotros denunciamos ante la opinión pública internacional el caso de este prisionero político como un caso aberrante de la dictadura castrocomunista de extrema izquierda estalinista. Ernesto lo han sometido en los casi 23 años. Los 10 primeros años estuvo en celda de aislamiento, en solitario, semioscura, semitapiada. Ernesto, en el 2011, es trasladado para el Combinado del Este. Haga usted su pausa.
Sí, un segundo.
Okay, so I want to say before the eyes and ears of the world that Ernesto Borges is a political prisoner and unjustly jailed, and that by the left-wing Castro communist Stalinist dictatorship. And for the first 10 years he was held in isolation, in in darkness, and I think caviada, I don't know what that means, caviada. And then he was saying something about 2011. He was transferred to a Combinado del Este, which is a very, it's an inhumane, very, I would say, bad conditioned prison.
Adelante, señor Borges. Continúe.
Ernesto en la práctica, en la vida real, lo tienen desde hace más de 22 años en celda de aislamiento, en solitario y semioscura. Por eso que Ernesto ha tenido la afectación esta tan seria de la catarata y avanzado. Okay. Ahora en este momento ya lo pasaron para campamento.
Un segundo.
Pero el mal es, sí.
Un segundo.
So he explains that in practice he's been in this isolation in solitary for more than 22 years, and that's why he has developed these cataracts. They blinded him just by keeping him in four walls in darkness. Now he's in this camp that they've transferred him to.
Okay, señor Borges, ¿y qué tiempo usted estipula que va a quedarse en ese campamento, o usted piensa que lo regresen nuevamente a la prisión?
Perdone, yo retroactivamente quería decirle de que Ernesto, por las leyes militares de Cuba, ya cumplió su sanción, porque por las leyes militares de Cuba, cuando yo le decía ahorita que no es Estado de Derecho, Ernesto nada más quería cumplir la tercera parte de los 30 años. Si es así, por las leyes militares de Cuba, pues Ernesto está pasado del cumplimiento de la sanción hace 12 años. 12 años. La aberración alrededor de él y la represión es muy fuerte.
Claro.
Es muy fuerte.
Vamos,
muy fuerte.
Deme un segundo para hacer esa aclaración.
Okay. So, according to the military law, military tribunal, he was only supposed to be in jail until 12 years ago. He was supposed to be free 12 years ago. He also says that this is an aberration as well.
So basically, he's been over prison for over 12 years.
Yeah.
Adelante, señor Borges.
Sí, bueno, ahora, como usted conoce, como conocemos, Ernesto a finales del mes de septiembre fue trasladado para campamento. Un beneficio que se da después de casi 23 años en prisión. Ahora bien, ¿qué nosotros podemos proyectar en cuanto a cuándo él puede salir? En cuanto ahora, mira, recientemente se le propuso los beneficios para la condicional, y fue desaprobado. Ahora el abogado que nosotros nombramos hizo la apelación pidiendo que se le otorgara la libertad condicional. La condicional también la denegaron. Ahora hoy precisamente hicimos una nueva apelación, que es lo que estipula el Estado de Derecho de Cuba, una nueva apelación, y bueno, vamos a transitar, se llama la súplica, una súplica de reclamación y apelación. Entonces, por el estado de salud que tiene, tan deprimido, el peligro que Ernesto representa, porque estamos en un caso que la opinión pública internacional debe conocer. Estamos ante un caso. Sí, puede traducir.
Exactly. Sí. So, did you get that?
Okay. So, at the end of September last year, excuse me, they moved into this new camp. Now, he was already due for parole a long time ago. They denied that. They appealed that, They denied it. Now they're trying to get parole again based on his health conditions, and that's pending.
Okay, adelante.
Sí, nosotros estamos muy preocupados. Esto, la opinión internacional debe conocerla porque realmente estamos ante un caso donde se ha violado la Convención de Ginebra sobre el trato a los prisioneros políticos. Este prisionero lleva casi 23 años en estado de salud extremadamente terrible y nosotros consideramos que este preso político en Cuba en este momento es un estigma para la dictadura castrista, es un estigma porque hay una realidad. El Ernesto puede quebrantarse en cuanto a la vista, Ernesto puede quebrantarse en cuanto a la hernia y poder haber un desenlace fatal. La madre de Ernesto, su progenitora, murió el 14 de febrero de este año. ¿Del año pasado? Ya del año pasado, perdón, del año pasado. Y hay una realidad, ella muere después de luchar enconadamente para ver a su hijo y luchando para verlo en libertad y poder disfrutarlo. Ni por Ernesto estar en tiempo ya para que se le otorgue la libertad, se le crearon las condiciones de esta libertad. Okay. Ella muere en estas condiciones. Pero más, Ernesto, traduzca por favor.
Gracias.
Okay, so we want to alert the international community to this case because it violates the Geneva Convention's treatment of political prisoners. This is a terrible stigma for the Castro dictatorship, and also, unfortunately, Ernesto's mother died on February 14th of last year, fighting, after a very long fight, a vigorous fight, trying to set her son free. That's it.
Okay, adelante, continúo.
El escenario que estamos viviendo con este prisionero político realmente es un escenario extremadamente terrible de lo que son estos tipos de dictaduras. Nosotros consideramos, y así lo exhortamos por todas las vías, al gobierno de Norteamérica a que tome carta en este asunto, porque hay una realidad. Este prisionero político es un héroe no solamente en el patriotismo por la lucha del pueblo de Cuba, sino Ernesto también se convirtió en un héroe del pueblo de Norteamérica cuando evitó que 26 espías puedan ser entrenados, preparados y fueran introducidos en territorio norteamericano para hacer cualquier tipo de actividad, incluyendo el espionaje y el terrorismo. Ernesto se ha convertido en un héroe también del pueblo norteamericano y el gobierno norteamericano debe tomar nota en esto, el Departamento de Estado, y debe tomar nota en esto para que realmente haya una acción internacional fuerte que pueda dar al traste con una prisión tan prolongada.
Okay, so we want to say that we don't want this to end up in a...
Esa libertad se debió dar cuando Obama hizo los canjes de algunos espías por norteamericanos.
Por supuesto.
Espías cubanos. Sin embargo, el caso Ernesto lo dejaron guardado. Sí. Es un espía que Ernesto es un espía de la práctica por iniciativa, pero es un héroe de Cuba y de Estados Unidos.
Sí, no me entiendo.
Okay, so Ernesto is a hero not only of the Cuban people but also of the American people, because he tried to stop 26 spies from coming to the United States and spreading, this type of influence and ideology in the American hemisphere, or in this hemisphere, right? So we asked the U.S. government to please take this into account, and that also he should have been set free when Obama visited and kind of thawed the relations between the two countries, but his case was swept under the rug.
Yeah. During that time, Riquette, if you remember, Obama actually made an exchange for some of the prisoners, of the American prisoners that were in the Cuban prisons at the time.
Right.
And he really should have actually tried to get this gentleman out of the deal as well. But as we know, we got the back end of the stick with all the exchanges that they did.
Right.
Okay, continúe, por favor.
Sí, nosotros hacemos una valoración, de la valoración del canje, pensando con mucha lógica que Ana Belén Monte, una espía del gobierno de Cuba, de una puertorriqueña, una analista del Pentágono y de los servicios especiales de Norteamérica, trabajó para las inteligencias de Cuba durante 17 años y fue condenada a 25 años de prisión. Ella se encuentra en estos momentos en Estados Unidos. Esa puede ser una candidata, según nosotros valoramos, para el canje. Porque los medios de prensa, en el 2012, Nuevo Era, inclusive, y algunos periodistas, esto lo comentaron y escribieron sobre esto, sugiriendo que podía hacerse un canje por Ernesto Borges Perez, por Ana Belén Monte, y consideramos que dentro de esta perspectiva se pudiera tener en cuenta.
Okay, he said that there is a Puerto Rican lady called Ana Belén Monte, who has been in jail for 17 years because she's actually a Cuban spy. I believe she might have been the same one that was working in the intelligence services of America.
In the Pentagon, correct.
That's right. Okay. Right. And even several reporters or journalists have said that she could be exchanged for Ernesto Borges.
Okay. Continúe, por favor.
Sí, nosotros, bueno, primero hablamos como familia porque realmente sentimos un dolor muy fuerte. Ya perdimos la progenitora de Ernesto después de una batalla de la vida luchando por su hijo, pero las fuerzas de la seguridad del Estado le plantearon a Ernesto que él no iba a disfrutar en vida en la calle a sus padres, que es decir, que los dos iban a morir. En este caso ya la progenitora murió. Yo tengo varias patologías muy graves porque estoy operado a corazón abierto y como es natural, todo el dolor está acumulado en tanto tiempo, se agrava sobre uno. Y tal parece que es un presagio que están esperando que se ejecute en el tiempo. Nosotros consideramos que es una aberración fascista la que hay sobre este preso político y sobre sus familiares. Porque a Ernesto no están condenados solamente a Ernesto, están condenando a la familia también.
Okay. So, as a family, it's very painful. His mother, the woman that gave birth to him, already died. The intelligence services, the security agents have told Ernesto that he will never see his parents in the streets as a free man. I, as his father, am sick. I've had open heart surgery, and I have all these years of suffering on my shoulders. We believe that this is a fascist aberration. And I forgot the last part.
Well, basically, it was about the mother. They're basically not just. This is not just about.
All right, that they're waiting for the father to die.
Right. Right.
And make him suffer, basically. Yeah.
Yes. Adelante. Now I'm trying to reconnect. Well, we apologize. We're trying to reconnect, and we will get him back. Normally, what happens is I keep them on the screen, and they do try to call back. But as you can see, the whole family is broken. The mother actually passed away last year. Señor Borges, perdón, sí, las comunicaciones están muy malas, pero ya para terminar, ¿qué mensaje usted quisiera darle al mundo internacional sobre su hijo?
Yo quisiera trasladar al mundo democrático que nos escucha y que pueda tener acceso a esta entrevista, y al pueblo de Norteamérica y al propio Departamento de Estado, y a la administración de Estados Unidos que este preso no se le puede dar en las manos de la dictadura castrista, porque realmente pueden devastarlo, pueden desaparecerlo como persona, y realmente esto sería un crimen. Con esto se está cometiendo un crimen de lesa humanidad. En las condiciones actuales lo podemos catalogar así: un hombre que ha estado 23 años en las celdas castristas en estas condiciones tan terribles y que se mantiene a punto de quedarse ciego o de poder quebrantarse con una hernia y puede morir en la prisión. Indudablemente que esto es un bochorno para el mundo democrático y para el gobierno de Estados Unidos.
Gracias.
Que se opere con manos amigas. Aquí queremos, como me dice mi hijo, que César Borges, él me lo está diciendo aquí, que queremos realmente que Ernesto se opere con manos amigas, porque Ernesto no se puede operar en los centros hospitalarios de Cuba, porque sabemos que Ernesto puede sucumbir en estos centros que ya tenemos antecedentes de cuántas cosas terribles le han pasado a los opositores aquí.
Gracias.
We want to let the democratic world know, the Department of State of the United States, the American people, and this administration, that what is being done to Ernesto constitutes a human rights violations, because he's been in jail for 23 years, and in that time has been blinded and has incurred a hernia. We want him to also be operated by friendly hands, not by the Cuban government and Cuban hospitals, because we already know what they do to opposition leaders or just anyone that opposes them in their hospitals. There's been cases, obviously, of people being denied of treatment for cancer, people being inoculated with AIDS, HIV, people being inoculated with other types of bacteria, being neglected, etc.
Right. And I want Alexei Fernandez just put here, actually, Alexei, I'm going to take your comment and I'm going to make that into a hashtag, hashtag freedom for Ernesto Borges. And I'm going to tweet that out. We're going to send that out to everyone. Riquet, if you can write that down, and we're going to put these in the comments. We want everyone that is going to be streaming this, please hashtag freedom for Ernesto Borges. We're going to send that out starting tonight to everyone in the Senate, everyone in the Congress, anyone you know needs to have this hashtag. Muchísimas gracias, señor Borges, en nombre mía personalmente y en nombre de todas las personas que lo estamos viendo o escuchando esta noche. Le damos muchas gracias por su testamento, que es tan importante.
Testimonio.
Perdone, Ernesto, desde el punto de vista humanitario, Ernesto y las patologías de enfermedades, Ernesto tiene 9 enfermedades crónicas, la inmensa mayoría de ellas adquiridas en la prisión y que hacen de la vida de él una vida devastada totalmente, al extremo que donde él se encuentra actualmente, él hace alergia a todas las picadas de insectos, y Ernesto ha tenido 2 cuadros. Y a los 8 días, cuando iba un médico a verlo, las condiciones de este prisionero político son realmente terribles. Y así queremos hacerlo contar a la opinión pública internacional y sobre todo a aquellos gobiernos como el de Estados Unidos y del mundo democrático que puedan interesarse en la libertad de este patriota.
Okay, un momento.
Okay, so he wanted to let us know also that Ernesto, this is definitely a humanitarian situation, humanitarian or human rights situation, because Ernesto has 9 chronic diseases that he's developed in prison. For example, he's allergic to insect bites, and one time he was affected by this, and the prison doctors didn't come to see him and support him, give him aid until 4 days later. So we just want people to know that what is being done to my son, right?
Señor Borges, muchísimas gracias. En este momento ya estamos empezando un hashtag en Twitter a todas los senadores y todas las personas en el gobierno con el hashtag de Freedom for Ernesto Borges. Lo empezaremos esta noche y no descansaremos. Le doy mi palabra sobre este caso. Va a llegar a sonar porque lo vamos a impulsar. Le doy las gracias a usted, le doy las gracias a César y a toda la familia. Quisiera que supieran que para nosotros su hijo es un héroe, al igual que todos ustedes.
Gracias. Muy importante, Iskra.
Sí, dígame.
¿Se me escucha?
Sí, le escucho, dígame.
Muy importante. En lo anterior que mi padre le habló sobre el periódico de Nuevo Herald, si mal no recuerdo, es el 1 de marzo de 2012, donde fue cuando el cardenal Jaime Ortega, el cardenal que ya falleció, fue a ver a Ernesto a la prisión del Combinado del Este para que Ernesto dejara la huelga de hambre que estaba haciendo antes que el Papa Benito XVI viniera a Cuba, donde llegaron a ciertos acuerdos. Entonces, en ese periódico, ya cuando se explica de esa visita que sale así, visita al cardenal Jaime Ortega, espía cubano, en cárcel del Combinado del Este en Cuba. Al final sale que altos analistas, funcionarios americanos, cubanos, tenían conocimiento de este espía. Eso es todo.
Ok.
Wait.
So,
Un segundo. Un segundo, vamos a traducir lo que acabamos de decir, que es muy importante.
So he was visited in 2002 by a cardinal of the Catholic Church.
2011.
2011.
Yeah, well, fue en el 2011, perdón. En el 2012 salió en el Nuevo Herald. Okay, right.
Okay,
So
in the Nuevo Herald, which is a Spanish newspaper in Miami, the English version is the New Herald of Miami. There was an article which recounted the visit of a Catholic
a cardinal that went to visit him before the Pope came to ask him to stop his
hunger strike before Pope Benedict went to Cuba.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, and then later on it was found out that the cardinal was a spy.
El cardinal era un espía. Es lo que usted... No.
El cardenal Jaime Ortega, cardenal de Cuba, fue a visitar a Ernesto al Combinado del Este para que dejara la huelga de hambre cuando venía el Papa Benedicto XVI. Y entonces, esa visita que hubo salió en el Nuevo Herald, así que decía, visita el cardenal Jaime Ortega, espía cubano, en cárceles de Cuba, en Combinado del Este.
Okay.
Ernesto Pérez.
Yeah.
Okay, so this case is known in the United States because in the Nuevo Herald newspaper of Miami, there was a headline that said, "Cardinal of Cuba Jaime Ortega visits spy in Cuban prison." So they know it's been known the U.S. government must know who this person is.
Yes.
Is what they're saying.
What the family is saying, this has been out there since 2012 and nothing has been done. The U.S. These notes have been already in American newspaper, and the word has obviously not been spread enough. So it is going to be up to us, the YouTubers of today, to make sure that this does get out, and that we tweet everyone around. That you know of, and that we hope that this interview tonight reaches as many people as possible. Señor Borges, muchísimas gracias por esta entrevista. Le he tratado de decir a nuestra audiencia que por supuesto todo lo que usted ha transmitido esta noche, pero adicionalmente les estoy pidiendo que que ya que los medios anteriores no han divulgado la información suficiente, nosotros los YouTubers ahora vamos a tener que hacer nuestro trabajo para asegurarnos de que esta entrevista y todo lo relacionado a Ernesto llegue a todo a lo más a las más personas posible dentro de nuestro alcance. Así que le damos las gracias a usted y a su hijo.
Gracias a usted, pero recuerde siempre que los tentáculos de la seguridad llegan hasta donde ella, y por eso trataron y han tratado por toda la vida que esto no se conociera, pero ya la vía se ha abierto. Gracias a ustedes.
Muchas gracias, Isra.
Muchas gracias y buenas noches. Que Dios los bendiga.
Good night. Basically, they were saying that the state security has tried for a very long time to keep this information secret, but thanks to the work that's been done on social media, thanks to people like us and others that have been doing this work for years, finally the truth is coming to light.
Okay, I am going to paste in the chat our StreamYard for anyone that wants to come in to our chat tonight and discuss this. I feel this is a very important subject tonight. I think this is one of the directas that I've had that has touched me the most out of everyone that we've done so far. Honestly, my heart goes out to this family, and we need to definitely do our jobs in spreading the word out to the world. And I hope that everyone that is seeing us tonight, please share this interview with your friends and family. Please share them on all of your social media, and let's hashtag the heck out of this, because this man has suffered enough, and we need to now do our jobs as Americans, as Cubans. So we thank you all for joining us. Hello, José, how are you tonight?
I am really good, guys. Really happy to be here with you again, and really happy to hear that this story is coming out, and the people are getting action to it. Like right now, I was tweeting. I want to tweet the Secretary of the Defense, Pompeo.
Yes.
It'll be a really good idea if everybody does it at the same time.
Yes.
And that's my idea tonight. If we can do it right now.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Let me get the information here.
Let's get their tweets out. Mm-hmm. And this is how we do it. We just have to, we have to do our part. I think, Ernesto has done his part. I think his family has done their part. It's now time for us to do our part. We can't let this man just die in prison, and that's why little by little they're killing him. It's been too long, and we just can't let this happen and go on anymore.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's really sad what we're getting to know tonight. I barely knew about Ernesto until I heard from Temas a lo Loco, where we're meeting every single week.
Yes.
And since Alex was the one explaining to us what's going on with him, like that's how we know something. And I'm just like working in spreading the word out, as we all should do. And just hoping for the best, I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, for me, I'm one of those people that don't give up, doesn't give up easily. For
Same
those who
here.
so
Same here.
I am definitely going to be working on this a lot. Um, I made a promise to this family, and I'm going to continue to get the word out. I hope that all of you continue to do your parts as well. It is important that people understand that timing is of the essence, which means we have very little time in our hands, because the more time that goes by, the less he will be have to be basically reestablish his health. And so we need to all understand that you know time is of the essence. We need to make sure we get this out to the world as soon as possible. The and we're going to hashtag all of this on Twitter. I believe El Canal de las Emociones has already done that, so I thank you very much, Señora. I know that there are others that have already started, and it's yes, I see here. Lolo says he's lost his youth and is going to lose his life. Well, Lolo, we're gonna try for that not to happen. We are all gonna put our our part in trying to help him as much as possible to get out of that situation as soon as possible. Um, and so it's going to be up to us to promote this hashtag, to make sure that people are understand, that this is not just a Cuban hero. He's an American hero. He stopped 26 people from being infiltrated into our country. And so, as Americans as well, we need to do our part, and make sure that hopefully, you know, as a humanitarian, I mean, this is also a humanitarian case. We've got a man that's going blind, that has lost half of his life, and it has already, uh, he's already overextended his extent by almost 17 years. So we need to get this man out of prison. And I mean, we've done it in the past for other political prisoners, and so we need to do it now again. And so this is what I'm asking, not just the Cuban community, but the American community as well. I think we need to get the international community involved in all of this. Um, I sure hope. I don't know if anyone else wants to come in and give us come in and converse with us, but we do need. If you're not willing to come in, and we understand you're not, we would like for you to please take the time. And we have
Hi, how are you?
hi,
Good evening.
hello, senor. There you are.
Yes, I am.
Thank you so much for tweeting. You've already done your job, so I
I've done
appreciate
it already. Iska,
it.
you know that I was listening to this man, and I think when I was growing in Cuba and I was a young lady, I remember that I used to the words that they always used was justice, equality,
Yeah.
fairness, and in front of my eyes, it's like I'm watching this government, this country going in became a cruel, savage, and long dictatorship. It's incredible. Like I remember some I don't know how many years ago they were fighting uh around the wall, trying to free the five spy that they
Right.
sent to United States. And now that we can see this, it's like 22 years just for intention,
Yes.
because they couldn't prove anything, just the intention. 22 years. I always think that when they do things like this, it's because they always take the advantage of cases like this to give a lesson to the people, to let them know this is what is going to happen to you. We're going to crush your life. We're going to crush your life if you just think or dream about to go against us.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And for
It's
me,
like
was
it's like they use them as examples for the
right,
rest of the people.
right.
Yeah.
It's a lesson. And that's what they do. And it was so sad because you can feel on the boys, a father, as a mother, and we can understand that. Like 22 years.
A
It's a
life.
whole life. It's incredible. Incredible. And this is the moment where I feel like we're like a little ant.
Yeah.
That's what happened to the exile, to people in exile. Like we feel the weight of the dictatorship when we're in front of a case like this.
Yeah.
That's why we have to do as much as we can to tweet, to try to, I don't know, to spread the word. And I hope that maybe we can tweet to Marco Rubio
Yes.
and probably Ted Cruz. I'm gonna do that tomorrow in the morning
Yeah.
because we have to do something. It's incredible. This is exactly the moment that we Cubans in exile, we can feel how big is the dictatorship that we have in our country. Like when they can do whatever they want with the life of someone just for an intention. Someone that used to work for them and maybe open his eyes one day. And it's incredible and it's sad, but that's what a dictatorship is. And I hope that we can do something. And I appreciate and I say thank you for your job today. Tú hiciste la tarea, you did your homework, and we get too, and and thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll be honest. It was one of the hard. This was one of the hardest interview I've done because it's it hits home, right? It hits your heart when you see
I know,
his mother actually passed away, Wade asking to see him. And the father has had several heart attacks and is and you see that even as he is sick, he's still trying to get the word out there for people to listen. So this hits home.
I know that.
What is hard? What is hard is the fact that it's been in the darkness for the longest time, and we didn't know about it. And you can feel it in his voice,
Yeah.
like the fact that he's desperate to like get the word out and try to get the people to know what his son is going through, and that's something that is helpful. And I think we have the power now to get the word out, and we have to use it somehow.
I
And,
agree. This is
and
why, for the last year, I've been waiting for somebody to start these debates in English because I do feel they're very important. It's very important that the not only the American people understand what's happening in our country, but internationally. And so, due to the fact that no one else decided to do them, I started them, and I think it's very important. And I feel this is why this is an international case. This is not just
yeah,
a Cuban case. This is something we need to get out to the world. Uh, Hello, Sydney. Welcome. How are you?
Hello, hi everyone.
How are
well,
you? Better and better.
I'm way better. Thank you
you're
very
always
much. Way
better.
better.
Good.
I'm back to work already.
That's
Wonderful.
good. Great.
Wow.
Good, good. Yeah, well,
Happy New Year's, and I'm sorry that
Happy
we're.
New Year.
Yeah,
happy
happy
New
New
Year.
Year,
Happy
guys.
New Year. I hope this one is going to be better than the last one, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to say two things. I don't this is very hard for me to process that I didn't I feel guilty because I didn't know much about him. And I'm feeling very guilty. I feel very bad with myself right now because I would like to point out two things. The first one is that uh, the dictatorships have made a cost out of a lot of things. They made a cost out of Nelson Mandela, who spent 20 years in prison. They made a cost out of Elian Gonzalez. They made a cost of the five spies.
And
And
sorry,
they
sorry,
did it very good. They did it
sorry.
very good.
They
And
did
they part this,
Villavicencio. I don't know if you know the case of Villavicencio, which is the
yeah, that
same
one too.
piece. The
That
same
one too.
piece. I was naming it.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So, and what they did, and they did it very good, was to create a lot of noise all over the place. Create so it was so loud that you cannot miss it because they were doing this what they call open tribunes every weekend in a different municipality, bringing a lot of kids from schools, a lot of buses, a lot of waste of fuel and resources and all this things, and they did a lot of noise, and so somebody somehow heard them. So what we need to do is the same thing. We need to make a little bit of noise to make and thank you very
A lot
much
of
for
noise.
yeah, thank you very much for this interview. That was heartbreaking for me to hear that, Father. I don't even want to talk about it. We're talking about 22 years in life. 22 years is it's a life.
It's a
It's a
life.
whole life. So the first thing that we need to do, we need to start doing it is to make noise. We have, especially in the south of Florida, we have Cuban American congressmen and senators that we, the Cuban community, put them there. We put them there, so they represent us. So we need to overwhelm them with voices of concern about Borges. They need to know. They need to spread the word out in their environment, which is the Senate, the Congress, the House, and the second thing that I would like to point out is that I remember when I was in my last year of my residency, a lot of my coworkers they were forced to stop their residency earlier in order to go to Venezuela because there was this new project that it was new eyes for Venezuelans, and it was a very big operation of resources, doctors, nurses, and so on because they were trying to uh, to do like millions, thousands or millions of cataracts operations in Venezuela.
The
So I
miracle
remember
operation.
a lot of my friends that I was talking to when they returned. So they were forced to go to the neighborhoods, sometimes very peripheral and very bad neighborhoods, to choose patients, sometimes randomly, trying to find all the patients they can get to bring them to Cuba to get operated of cataracts. It's a very simple operation. It will take like half an hour each eye to do with usually very good outcomes. And they brought million thousands, I would say, but the goal was to bring millions of people from Venezuela to get operated in Cuba by Cuban doctors. And now you're telling me that this Cuban national is in prison without side because he cannot be operated by Cuban the best doctors that we have in the world, the most honest and the most sharing doctors that we have. So this is hypocrisy at its best. That's what I have to say, and we need to expose them. The hernia operation is another very simple surgery that can be done in an hour. And yeah, it could be life threatening if it gets complicated. So it can be solved. Both problems can be solved in a weekend. So there is no intention. There is there's a ill will uh, from their end not to do it and to make him suffer. And as you were saying, to make an example out of it. That's
Right.
horrible.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
Well,
and just to bring a funny input, I was told because I was here when that medical operation happened in Cuba with the Venezuelan. Someone told me that they brought all these people um, in some time from the jungle. They live in a really apart, and they took him to Cuba to Tarara to the houses that one day in 1959 and the early 60s, the houses that they took away from the wealthy class of Cuba. And it's incredible. That's one of the absurd situation where the I don't know, the Cuban dictatorship. It's sometimes I can say that it's crazy. It's crazy. So many that they did for years and years without any consequence. It's incredible, but it's exactly what happened for years and years. And let's see, like what you said is like we have to bring this to the attention to a lot of people that we have. I was thinking when you were talking, I was thinking about Maria Elvira Salazar,
yeah,
and maybe we can go through her. I don't know if you know someone. Then I believe Otaola, it's really close to her right now.
yes,
Marcos
Maybe
Rubio
we
too.
can, and Marco Rubio too, right? And let's see tomorrow if we can think together to find out a way,
absolutely. I agree.
right?
We need to find a way of getting this out as much as possible. But
I'm I wanted to mention, guys, that
yes,
Mandela was in prison for 27 years, but thanks to the fall of the sanctions on the apartheid government, uh, and the eventual disintegration of that government, he was able to not only become a free man, but then also become the president of South Africa. I think it's very important that the international community also gets behind Ernesto Borges's case, or at least put pressure on the actual dictatorship itself, so that all the political prisoners, are set free. Of course, Mandela had better publicity, because while doing this a little research just now, I realized that the political party that he was a part of, which fought the apartheid government, called the African National Congress (ANC), is part of the Socialist International, um, of course, and they say that in 2015, they say that China's economic development trajectory remains a leading example of triumph of humanity over adversity, and the exemplary role of the collective leadership of the Communist Party of China in this regard should be a guiding lodestar of our own struggle.
yeah,
And then they say that the collapse of the Berlin Wall and socialism in the Soviet Union and Eastern European states influenced our transition towards the negotiated political settlement in our country. The course of events in the world changed tremendously in favor of the US-led imperialism. They say that the fall of the Berlin Wall helps United States imperialism.
you
We
know,
have the deck stacked against us. It's
we
sad.
people don't understand. They just and I know that as when I talk to my American friends, they look at me and they say, "You're crazy," you Cubans are crazy. And not only have I seen this firsthand in Cuba, I was actually in communist China, and I actually have Chinese friends that still live there and that work there, and that I have actual still communications with. I actually went to China many times And one of my last times I went for 3 weeks, I spent there, and I actually was with the Chinese people. I know how they live, I know how they work, and I know that they do not have the freedom that the world thinks they have. They own nothing. They're giving land for an X amount of years to cultivate, but just like in Cuba, they have to, whatever they grow in their land, they have to sell back to the government. When you see those pretty buildings in these beautiful lights, that's like in you walk through their downtown, and it's like you're in Times Square. Well, behind it's all a facade. Behind those lights, there are buildings that are falling apart, and they have these little apartments with, like, 10, 20 people living in a small apartment. It People don't understand, you know, because you haven't been there. And when you go to the tourist side. You don't really see, just like they do when they go to Cuba. They go to the pretty side, the tourism. But that
They,
this is just it's
they are
not
mastering hiding the reality. They are mastering hiding the reality and showing just what they want to be, showing to the people, and they are so proud and blah blah blah, yada yada yada.
I
In
wanted to
one
let
point,
you guys just show you. Sorry,
no,
Senora, just quickly.
I have to go,
Okay.
Risket, and before I go, this point, if you're going to tweet the hashtag, remember always to add Diaz Canel or Marco Rubio or whoever you
we're
decide.
putting out the
That's
names
what I
that,
did.
yeah.
Right.
So
I
we
tweet the hashtag and I add Diaz Canel.
right
Okay, just in
and
case
so
it's really important because if we tweet something and we don't mention other people, it's like nothing. That's
right.
what I did. I mentioned Diaz Canel, and I'm gonna do it tomorrow again, and I'm gonna mention Maria Elvira Salazar, and Marco Rubio, and Ted Cruz. Okay.
Wonderful. And we are
Awesome.
putting there is a banner across that's going across that has everybody's Twitter address. So please treat everyone on that that's on there. We've got Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Maria Elvira Salazar. We
Right.
have the real Donald Trump, Secretary Pompeo, and the Human Rights. And
And
let's hashtag.
a lot of people they don't use Twitter too much like Facebook or YouTube. And it's so easy. If you don't want to do it by yourself, just go to your page, and on Twitter you are Let's Talk About Cuba too, right?
Yeah,
Then I can go to your page, and I'm gonna tweet again, retweet.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, okay,
absolutely,
guys.
absolutely.
Good night to
Thank you. Good
everyone.
night. Thank you
Cindy,
for
I'm happy
joining
that
us.
you're feeling better. Okay, bye
Thank
bye.
you. Thank you much.
Good night.
Good
Bye,
Night,
night.
guys.
night. Quickly,
Um,
guys, just to show you that on the left you see the Socialist International symbol with the rose. On the right is the Portland Rose City Antifa flag with another rose. And remember that the African National Congress, Mandela's political party, also belongs to the Socialist International. And I just wanted to show the audience that it's all related, man. It's not just our Cuban fight, it's the world's fight against these systems, this injustice, this really vile ideology.
yeah. I want to welcome Angel.
I want to give you
Welcome.
good evening, all of you. Thank you,
How are you?
Iskra.
Thank you for
Uh,
joining us. Welcome to our small debate, our little channel over here.
okay, but just thank you to give me a welcome in this new year to your Shane.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Briquet, ¿no?
Ricket.
Rique.
Riquet, my friend Jusbel,
How's it going, man?
Mhm.
Rodney,
Good to see you around here.
Doctor. Hi, man. I was listening to you before since the beginning with the family of Richard talking about him and talking about things, and right now listening Rique and the sentimental lady. I tell it in a good way.
The sentimental lady, that's funny, yeah.
Last program I meant
Oh,
I
that's
meant
good.
emotional lady, but right now it's
Emotional lady.
emotional lady.
Yeah.
I'm still making a mistake. So I was listening to
That's
something,
okay.
and there's really something amazing to see here, and it's about the quantity of personality in the whole world vinculated to communism. That they hug the political communism, the political ideology of communism, because they hear the speech, but they don't hear the people who live under communism ideology.
Right.
I still don't know why. Well, there's an influence that made them not to listen to us. And this influence is the same speech the others, the communists say, that we are traitors, that we have sold our soul to the enemy, to hell. But in really, communism is hell. But they don't listen to us. There's a Cuban documentary about the all exiliated Cuban people living in Miami. They don't listen. They didn't listen. They didn't listen. When you see this documentary, this document, this filmography, you will see something that will make the skeptic become a believer. If you don't listen, that in face of you there is a hole, you will fall down. Right. Because you are walking straight ahead to that hole. You must see further than your eyes, and you will listen. Because something is beautiful when you listen to somebody, when you hear somebody talking to you about equality, about justice, about love, about solidarity, about internationalism. But when you go to real life and you see that this somebody only send people to make internationalism, only send people to make solidarity, but they never go. Those people who speak about this never go. They are not the one who works. They are the one who go to TV programs pretending be working. They are the one who take a picture like Che Guevara, like Fidel Castro, like those we met, take a picture in the countryside, in the field, with a machete, cutting a cane sugar plant, or taking care of sugar of flour bag in the port of Havana, or putting bricks in a construction. It's only that day. It's only that day. Because this is what people see. They want to see leaders working. But what they don't see is that this is leader works propaganda. It's not leader work in real. Because my president or my first minister or whatever I have in the government don't need to go to any place to put bricks to make a house, because there are some people who are being paid for make those stuff. My president doesn't need to go to the countryside to take a picture picking up corn, or picking up potatoes, or picking up strawberries, or picking up whatever in the countryside that we produce. No, my president, I need to see him solving the country problems. That's why we elect him, not for going to the countryside to pick it up anything up there. We need 24 hours our president consulting the whole world solutions to arrive to a topic, to the best topic for the country and for the nation. We don't need we don't need presidents or leaders, populists. We need leaders or real leaders who can take in their hands the country future and the nation future. Thank you
I
very much.
agree. Thank you, Angel. I agree, and I think this is why I want to start doing more. People tell me, well, you can take videos and put subtitles on them. It's not the same. When you hear, this interview that we heard today, when we hear directly from the family who is actually going through this, and I want the world to see this. I want Americans to see this. I want everyone to see and hear and listen to the suffering, because when you hear those testimonies from the family, it makes a very different impact than putting subtitles on things. And that's why it takes us a little longer, and it's very hard for us to do the translation while we're doing this. But honestly, I feel it makes a bigger impact, for people to actually feel the emotions of the family members. And that was my that's what I want to
That's
spread out. I
what I mean.
has joined us, and I want to welcome him
Oh, okay.
to the show. Actually,
I don't want
Alex,
I, don't-
thank you
I don't
for
want to
joining
lose the idea
us.
before giving Alex the word. I want to lose the
Sure,
idea.
sure.
There's something that when I talk to friends or Latin Americans that I met in virtual webs in the web, I talk to them something. Maybe your reality in your country is the worst that you think it is. But I advise you something. Don't get married to any other government in not any other country, even when this government in that country is again the government that is making suffer your life in your country. Because the most of the time, the thiefers is the best enemy of the other thiefers, because they wanna thief what they are doing, what they are
Right.
taking. That's my advice sometimes to those people. I
Yeah.
know that it's a little bit complex, but what I mean is don't try to be friend of the one that is trying to defend you for the one who is
Well, so
taking your.
we have a saying in English that says the grass is always greener on the other
The other
side.
side, yeah.
That's the way. That's the way.
There you
That's the
go.
way.
There you go. That's
That's
What that means is that you always see your neighbor's grass is always pretty, you always look at it, and it's, but you don't really know what's going on inside that house. You don't know what happens inside that country, and what the people go through. So we want to welcome Alex, de Temas a lo Loco. Thank you for coming in. I know it's hard for you guys to speak in English sometimes, and so I want to really thank you guys, for showing up and doing your best at giving us some of your testimony. And I know you had this family on your show last week. So I know this is also very dear to your heart. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to say hello to you, Iskra, and companion, and just want to coming to your show to say that my heart goes out to the family of Ernesto Borges, because as much as the prisoner suffers, also the family goes with the same tragedy. Tragedy. Um, we should be speaking about the freedom on all political prison,
Absolutely.
because these are people that are basically in prison just for thinking. And in a society like in the American society, this democracy, to think about somebody going to prison because they just thinking about something different than other than the government offers is unreal. So We should be talking about all political prison in Cuba, and we should be wishing the freedom for all of them. What's happening right now with Ernesto Borges, unfortunate, because as you were saying, he's not able to see well. He has a hernias. So, and the government, the Cuban government, is not really, or the dictatorship is not really taking care of anybody. And I can assume that even worse is for the prisoners.
Well, and
So,
the family did make it very clear they don't want the dictatorship to actually take care of his health because they're afraid of what they can do to them.
well,
To
that's
him,
what they do. That's what they do.
yeah,
They have
exactly.
basically killed their own people. There
Yeah,
is not really any way that, the medical system is a failure.
right,
So although they say that the best medical, we all know that that is not even close to being truth. So and I agree with the family. Ernesto Borges deserve to be treated as a human being, and that will never happen inside Cuba. So it's necessary that we will speak out for the freedom of Ernesto Borges, and using hashtags to express,
right,
exactly that we want him to be free from jail.
yeah,
Has been more than 22 years, and it's unfortunate that a family and people has to go through situations like this. And but I want to add also for people to know the entire island of Cuba is a prison.
right.
They have 11 million people in prison. So it's we all should be fighting for everyone in Cuba that is living in real poor conditions. The necessities in Cuba are on every corner, everywhere. Nothing is working. Everything is no food, no no medical hygiene. The, the We should be talking about the freedom of Cuba in general,
Right.
and all political prisoners will be free at the same time. So I just want to come in, say hello. I want to express my support to your channel. I wish people watching right now, please share this, these videos. Subscribe to the channel, please. It's really important that a channel like this keep growing, because it's the opportunity that we have as Cubans to express the word around the world. Not only US, they will be watching this show, but they can see anywhere. English is a universal language, so it's really important what you guys doing. So we need to support you 100%.
Thank you
Um,
so much, Alex.
to you all, I want to wish you a great night, and
Good night.
once again, free Ernesto Borges. That should be the hashtag that we go home tonight on
That's right.
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you can,
Yeah,
because this is the opportunity that everyone have to be part of his freedom,
yeah,
and for his family to feel a relief that
right.
Ernesto Borges is not going to die in prison. I want
That's
to
right.
thank you. Good night, and
Thank
you
you,
all
Alex.
have a blessing,
Thank you.
blessing day.
For those
Yeah,
of you that don't know, Temas, Alex does have a channel as well that's called Temas a lo Locos, and it's in English. I mean, it's in Spanish, and they do Sunday nights at 7, right?
yeah. And
And
now we do Tuesday.
great show because people from Cuba actually call in, and I mean, I was on there last night, and it was wonderful to see how many actual Cubans come in and give their testimonies. So I congratulate you for what you're doing as well.
Thank you so much. And
Really
I want to
help.
take the opportunity to invite you too,
That's
to come to our show, and you can promote your show as well, because that's what we all Cubans do. We support
absolutely
each other.
we.
So
Um,
anything you want to come in and talk about, I'll be more than free to, on any language, Spanish, English, whatever you like to do. My
yeah,
show is open up to you and to my friends right here. I want to thank you for coming and supporting Instagram. And this is a novel, this is real novel, you guys to support this channel, because, like I said before, we need to grow this channel the biggest it can, so that many people can hear us.
thank you, Alex.
Okay. Thank you so much. You all have a great night.
Have a good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Well, guys, I'm going to start to do our rounds and say our goodbyes. It's been a very, for me, it's and I want to start with and the reason why we're doing the Twitter, and the reasons why we tell people to tweet. Not only is it easier, but most of the people in Congress, all of our senators, most people in government, what they use is Twitter. So this is why it's important. And I know that you can do the hashtags on your Facebook or on all your social media, but the importance of using Twitter, which a lot of the Cuban community doesn't use as much as the Facebook, but the importance of it is because most of the people in government, that's what they use. That's and if you tweet it, they're gonna see it. I guarantee you, they're gonna see it because they are on their Twitter, just like Donald Trump is on his Twitter. Everyone else.
they're actually monitoring Donald Trump all the time.
And whatever you tweet, it stays there forever. It's not gonna be deleted.
Yeah.
So we need to continue.
One thing to say for those that don't have Twitter, it's not that you have a fake profile, but you can actually go with another name. You don't need to go with your own name.
Yeah.
You can use your at whatever, and then your name could be like only like, I don't know, 2 letters, 3 letters, whatever, and then you don't have to put your actual name there, and
Right.
they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know if you are who you are, whatever.
Yeah.
Just say.
So let's do our goodbyes. Sydney, what last words would you like to say?
Yeah, I would like to ask Ricade if they can condensate or make like a short version of the interview with the
Yes.
father. That would be great. It was very shocking for me hearing those words straight from him. I don't know if you can translate it or do subtitles or whatever you think is
Yeah.
best or feasible for the audience. But I
Yes.
think that was a heartbreaking testimony that everyone must hear and spread the word, share, because that's how things nowadays go viral and go all over. And because it's a noble cause, I feel very bad. I feel in those 22 years lost of a life of a brave man who decided to do the right thing. He had the opportunity and he decided to do the right thing for everybody, for our country and for America too. And I'm very sure that if I ask randomly to any American on the streets that what do you think of a person that stopped from spies to come into your country, they will say that that's a very brave act to do. And I think that's what we need to do. Spread, share. Hi.
Thank you, Sydney.
See you next Monday.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
I need to say sorry.
Angel, go ahead.
It was me who did it. I
Oh,
gotta
that's
say sorry.
Go ahead.
My microphone was open.
What last word would you
I mean, I thank you, really thank you for being here, and I share Sydney's opinion about what happened to Borges and family and what he decided. I share his opinion, so I won't talk about this, but I will let you this introduction because as I'm a singer and I'm a singer, but most in English than in Spanish.
Really? Wow.
My career has been all in English.
I've heard you sing in Spanish. I've never heard you
But
sing in English.
my career has been based in English.
Really?
more than Spanish. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Since
then you have to
since
sing for us.
since I'm kids, it was not a proportion. It was something that comes. But this is just an introduction because there's copyright and stuff like this.
Right? Yes.
I heard there was a simple chord that David played to please the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do ya? Another day we will on.
All right. Thank you,
Exactly.
Angel.
Thank
Have
you
a good
guys, and
Thank you, brother.
we need our freedom. Thank you, boys.
Okay. Thank you, Angel. Bye
Have a good
bye.
night.
Good night. Yusben, any last words for our
There's me. Yeah. My only words are to the people that are watching this show. I just want to let them know that all we're trying to do is get the people to know what is Cuba going through and what people really deserve to live like. And I am inviting some friends that they are gonna watch this probably in the next 2 nights, and I want them to know that everything they are gonna see here is the testimony of people that have a really beautiful heart, and they really want the best for their people.
right?
And talking about the topic of today, we doing this, we are going to uh, start a chain of love for our people, because all of them are prisoners
I agree.
in an island of 11 million.
Yes.
And I want the people to know around the world that is something to to think about, because a lot of people go to our country just to enjoy the beaches and to have the nice parties and like have the life. And I want them to know that our people don't have that kind of life.
That's
We are
right.
not allowed to do that in any other country, just because someone with for their pride is trying to get us to do whatever they want.
That's
And their law is do what I say, not what I do.
what I do.
And I'm against that, and I'll be always, and I think the rest of the world is.
I agree. I agree. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank you
guys.
for joining us. Have a good night.
It was a pleasure. Risky.
Okay, my friend. Um, yeah, you always have so much to say.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I want to thank everyone that came on and participated. I want to thank the family, the father and the brother of Ernesto Borges, calling from Cuba. Guys, I mean, we had to help them out, with the internet, because it's very expensive for them. But also, they're taking a risk. They're taking a risk of being harassed, of being, persecuted, of just ostracized by talking about this publicly because they are in the island. And the we can't just celebrate the people that are already passed on. We have to celebrate the people that are still fighting, that are still alive. We have to try to save and help those people, because then all we're doing is just creating martyrs, And I think, well, I'm fed up with martyrs. And
I agree.
this is what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get the voice out, trying to wake people up, and just to ask you guys to just open your eyes, make the connections, and see that our fight is your fight, and that justice is the same. It doesn't matter what country you're from, the color of your skin, or what language you speak. Right is right and wrong is wrong.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you, Iskra, for
No.
putting
Thank
together
you
this
for
channel and everything, and
thank you
we'll
for
keep going.
helping me. Thank you for helping me and with the translation. You did a wonderful job tonight, and I think it was that's what we need. That's what we need. We need to hear those testimony from the people, and I think people that those emotions. It's just hard to do without having the people there, so that's, and I know it takes a lot of work from you. It took a lot of work from you, so great job. Thank you. um, I want to thank everybody that came on tonight. We had a lot of new people on the chat. We apologize that we can't write back while we're doing this, but we thank every single one of you. We thank everyone that joined us in the actual panel, and we ask that you please share. We will be doing a trim of just the part of the interview so that you can share with your friends and family. And if you can, please tweet to everyone you know, and freedom for Ernesto Borges. That is going to be our treat for the week. Thank
Awesome.
you, and have a great night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.